Today I'm going to talk about another one of the greatest lies in physics, the cyclical universe. And if you're not familiar with what that is, under Big Bang theory, the Big Bangers believe that the universe starts at a point and expands. Well, in the cyclical universe version of it, it reaches a point where it stops and then begins contracting and then contracts to a point. And then it blows up again and expands again. And this is a way to get an infinite universe model out of the Big Bang theory and try to explain where the energy came from, because the energy is infinite and gets compressed and expanded. Well, there are three major problems with this. The first one being the quantum field exists. And it always exists. So there's no such thing as space without quantum field in science. All real space as we know it has quantum field. And part of the big problem with that is the quantum field has much more energy than the entire universe. There's more energy in my pinky than in the entire universe, comparing the quantum field energy in my pinky to the matter energy and other non-quantum forms of energy in the universe. So right there, it tells us that there's no Big Bang because the quantum field exists. The quantum field also has dimensions and time, as dimensions and time emerge from the quantum field, because the quantum field's made of quantum fluctuations, and quantum fluctuations have wavelengths, and they have frequencies. So they have an amount of time they exist, and they have a distance that they travel. So the quantum field has dimensions and time. And the dimensions and time of the quantum field are fixed in the quantum field rest frame. So that means that we have a flat, geometrically flat map, a dimensional map with clock rates that fills the entire universe, the entire physical space at all times. And not only that, but in addition to dimensions and time arising, the electric and magnetic constants arise, which form the speed of light, so the speed of light is there, and every other physical constant, including the gravitational constant G. And forces, the electromagnetic forces and gravitational forces, they don't change those dimensions. Those dimensions are there. So even if you have gravity acting, gravity moves body through the quantum field, but it doesn't move the quantum field itself. So the quantum field has this existence over space, and objects can move through it, certainly, but it doesn't change the dimensions of the quantum field, and it doesn't change the extent of the quantum field, which according to theory is infinite. We don't have a theory for setting a boundary to the dimensions of the quantum field, either with respect to time or distance. So the quantum field can't expand or contract. So there's no way for the quantum field to be contracted back to a point to cause the universe to expand again. So that makes the whole cyclical universe idea ridiculous when you come at it from the perspective of quantum field theory. Then number two that I want to talk about is dark energy. In the late 90s, when dark energy was first discovered, the discovery that the expansion of the universe is accelerating, which means there's a force causing this accelerating expansion, that tells us if the universal expansion is accelerating, it's not going to contract. It's just going to expand forever. So once dark energy was discovered, the cyclical universe model should have gone away. Yet here we are over 30 years later, and people are still discussing it. Now, I do realize that there's been some evidence that suggests that perhaps they were wrong. that perhaps the data set used to prove that there was dark energy was too limited, and that if you look at all the data, that it doesn't show the expansion. It doesn't show the accelerating expansion. And so perhaps dark energy doesn't exist, and this isn't the problem that it appears to be. But right now, under dark energy theory, there's no way that the universe could contract because the expansion is accelerating. And thirdly, we have the problem of gravity. And it's a problem that gravity doesn't appear to be constant. The gravitational constant G does not appear to be constant. And the reason I say that is that if you take the mass of the universe, 10 to the 56 grams, and you calculate the radius of a black hole with that mass, you find out it's 15.7 billion light years. So if you have 15.7 billion light years, that's slightly more than the so-called radius of the visible Big Bang universe of 13.8 billion light years. But we're not in a Big Bang. We're not in any sort of Big Bang that would be described in either general relativity or Newtonian gravity. So it can't be true that G is constant at these large distances. So something else is going on. But if G is not strong enough to make the entire universe a Big Bang when we look at the matter collectively, then G is not strong enough to cause contraction. And we have to look at the universe very differently if G is not strong enough. And in part that's related to the dark energy as well. But for some reason we're looking at a universe that isn't a black hole, and so it's just not going to contract. There's not enough force pushing everything back together for there to be a black hole, so there's certainly not enough force pushing everything back together to contract the universe back to a point. So the cyclical universe idea is a lie, and it should be done away with. And hopefully people will stop talking about it in real terms. So I hope you appreciate the video, and thanks for watching. And if you like it, please like, share, or subscribe. And if you want to know more about the 100 Greatest Lies in Physics, I have my book, The 100 Greatest Lies in Physics. And I also have a book on quantum field theory called The Zero Point Universe, and a book on particle theory called Goodbye Quarks, the Onion Theory. And I'm an independent researcher, so if you want to support my research, purchasing a book helps me. And I also have a Patreon account. So thanks for watching.